Yesterday, I put out a top 5 prospects in the Islanders system at the end of the 21-22 season. And that top 5 was strictly based off of NHLE, so just straight up stats. Well, now let's do one just using the eye test. Yesterday, I released a top 5 prospects within the Islanders prospect pool at the end of the 21-22 season. And I based that ranking on this. This is paper, right? The game of hockey is not played on paper. And so I shouldn't necessarily just be using this for my top 5. And that's why the top 5 itself is kind of contentious when you guys got guys like Parker Wotherspoon on it. No offense to Parker Wotherspoon, but he shouldn't be in a top 5 Islanders prospect list. So today it's just on the eye. The brown one or the green one. I got 2 different colored eyes. Whichever one, doesn't matter. I'm just using the old peepers here to decide who belongs in the top 5. Starting from the top, Aatu Räty is your number 1 prospect. It didn't change from yesterday for good reason. He is the number 1 player. He can take faceoffs. He puts up a ton of points. He's only 19 years old. He was the top or one of the top players in one of the top European leagues. He was dominant. He really was at 19 years old. So the room, or the, if you will, the trend is only going up for Aatu Räty at this point, who is now breaking into the North American scene, is a step below the NHL, and is only, again, 19 years old. He is the number 1 prospect in this prospect pool, whether you're using paper or you're using the eye test. Number 2 is Simon Holmstrom. So big jump already, right? He was number 6 yesterday, and I'm putting him number 2. Because the game, like I said yesterday, slowed down for him hard. You can see that he was hitting that next gear at the AHL level, and there's no doubt about it. Does this mean he's going to be a breakout player at the NHL level? I don't think so. I think the ceiling for Simon Holmstrom is still middle 6 winger. But that's fine. You need middle 6 wingers, specifically cost control middle 6 wingers. You're not paying someone $5 million. You're probably going to be paying him a couple $1,000,000, even under the next deal at best. That is a lot of cap savings for a guy who's ready, it seems, to take that next step into his career. Now, what I mean by that is apply his trade at the NHL level. Not break out, not dominate, not be a star player, just ready to take those first few steps at the NHL level. That's where Simon Holmstrom is, and that's why he's number 2 on this list. The third player here is Robin Salo. Again, a player who's ready to take that step at the NHL level. We already saw it last year, and he did well. It just didn't really seem to go that well at the AHL level, and so that's why I've got him number 3. You can argue he belongs number 2, and I will not dispute that at all. Just for me, I've got him number 3 because there was that kind of hiccup at the AHL level last year, but you can chalk that up to first steps in North America. But he, just like Holmstrom, just like Räty, are ready for that next step. Now, for Holmstrom and Salo, that's the NHL. That's not necessarily where Räty is, but we'll see. That might change by the beginning of the year. But that's the overall theme here, is that what we're trying to find out is not who had the best statistical year or who had the best year on paper like we did in the last video. We're trying to see who are the best players in terms of potential, right? Who can move from the prospect pool into the NHL and maybe have an impact at the NHL level. And when you're going through the prospect pool, your first 3 are in some order: Räty, Holmstrom, and Salo. Number 4 is Rus Nishikov, a player who's jumping to the North American pros this year. He applied his trade in the European pros last year and the year before that and was really, really good. I am a lot higher on Rus Nishikov than a number of people. I understand he's short. He's not a big player, but what he lacks in size, he makes up for in offensive opportunities in terms of his ability to create them, because this is one hell of a creative player. He is a highly skilled offensive player, really good on the puck, strong for a guy who isn't that big. He's not going to bully people in the corners, but you shouldn't expect someone who's 5'8" to do that. But he's not going to shy away from the corners. You got to remember, this is a guy who they play net front on the power play sometimes. He's not shy when it comes to contact. He's not going to bully people over. He just doesn't have the frame to do it. But he's not going to shy away from digging for the puck in the corner. And that's what you want to see from a player like him. He's not going to shy away when things get physical. He won't be the most physical player because He doesn't have the frame to push people around, but he's not going to shy away either. Final player number 5 is Alex Jeffries. I love this player. He is so smart. He is so talented. He is so fast. This kid's got a lot of things going for him, and I think his ceiling is NHL level. And by ceiling at NHL level, I mean probably third line. But still, I think he can be an effective third line player, maybe bumped up, but I don't want to go that far. I think third line player at the NHL level is where his ceiling is right now. But he has done some really good things for Merrimack that aren't really that talented. Like, they're a good team and they've done well, but they're not a loaded team, if you will. So he's done well there. I'm really excited for what he's going to do in his junior year because he has been improving from that rookie or that freshman season, if you will. I really like the potential from this kid. I think they're going to sign him after year 3 and not let him just sit around for year 4. I don't really like doing honorable mentions, but because I did one yesterday, I'm going to do one again today, and that's Eetu Lukas. I absolutely love this kid's game. He is a beauty. Physical as all hell, is not shy for confrontation, has a shot to boot, and can skate pretty darn well. His skating isn't going to get him in the NHL alone, but it's good enough to get him there. And it's all his other skills that are going to take over to get him to that NHL level. I think his ceiling is 4th line NHLer, and that's really good, man. You'll take a 4th liner from what is a 5th round pick, and he can be a really effective 4th liner. And look, who doesn't want to be a 4th liner for the Islanders? They pay those guys. That sounds great. You can work into $1 million+ contract at the NHL level for being a 4th liner on the island. You take that all day. Eetu Lukas, I think, could break into a 4th liner role at the NHL level within a couple of years. I absolutely love this kid's game. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do so. And if you have, now that I've nagged you to do so, thank you, thank you, thank you.